The current shifting markets in our real estate industry, we are very privileged and honored to have three of the industry's most experienced brokers, managers, and owners of real estate who have not only succeeded, but have also thrived through various market shifts. As you all know, we are experiencing a change in our market. What we're calling as our market is shifting, right? So our panel today consists of three powerhouses in our industry, starting off with Joe Villaescusa, who is the owner and broker of Century 21 All-Stars. Yay!
Hey, buddy.
Next on our list is we have Ruben Sariñana Jr., who is the manager and active realtor of C21, a better service. All right. Woo! And last but not least, we have Daniel Nevares, who is our managing partner of C21 Realty Masters in Norwalk. Let's have a round of applause for our three powerhouses today. Woo! Good job, everybody. It's truly an honor to have you three here with us.
Thank you.
My name is Jennifer Avalon with Keller Williams, Southeast Los Angeles, and I'm the current 2022 president of the Greater Downey Association of Realtors. And once again, gentlemen, it's truly an honor to have the three of you here with us today.
Thank you.
Now let's get started, gentlemen, as we have an excited and enthusiastic audience that's anxiously awaiting to hear from the three of you.
Woo!
All right.
Yay! All right. So let's get started with telling us how long each of you have been in the real estate industry and what was the market like when you each got started in the business. So let's start off with Dan.
Okay, I guess you're going to start with the oldest first. That's okay.
Hey, oldie but goodie. Come on, Dan.
Been in the business 39 years. I'm not that old. I started when I was 10, right? What was real estate like? I mean, I would tell people I'm in real estate and they'd give me a hug. Why? Because interest rate was 21%. Okay. And I honestly do feel that I'm still in the business 39 years later because I learned from that market and I learned how to survive in a 21% market. And, you know, quite frankly, that was the toughest market in my 39 years. So everything else looks like it's doable. We can go around this. We can fix this. We can get through this time. If we went through 21, everything looks easy.
That's an amazing point, guys. So if you guys look at the national average of what the interest rates were, probably like in the last 50 years, we're looking at like a 7.8 interest rate. So 21% is a piece of cake, right, everybody?
Right. Absolutely.
So when you have agents that are crying about how their interest rates have gone up and how it's affecting the market, we'll just remind them that when Dan started, the interest rate was 21%.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that information. Now, Ruben, if you want to give us an idea, how long have you been in the real estate industry, and what was the market like when you got started in the business?
I've been in the business for 33 years, and during that time, I could tell you that when we started, I remember selling property between the price points of $50,000 to $150,000. You know, 3% of 50,000. Imagine that. Interest rates for me were prevalent was more the adjustable. I used to sell a lot of adjustable rates. Adjustable being thereabouts, I would say in an average between 7.5% to 8% adjustable. So like to Dan's point, you know, I got to see fixed rates as high as 10% in my era. But yeah, I would tell you that the difference between then and now is that definitely units was bigger. People were workers back then. Today, you know, people get excited because they close one transaction, they can make 50 grand, you know, 30,000, and they have a tendency of not working as hard as they could. But we did sell a lot of real estate back then. And again, property value was much lower, a lot lower.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So again, to recap what Ruben had just mentioned, he's been in the business 33 years. You had adjustable rate mortgages, and the rates were hovering around 10%, and you had obviously a lower price point, right? Like you said, 50,000,
Yes.
50,000. Awesome. Well,
50,000 to 150, yes.
Awesome. Now, last but not least, Joe, tell us again how long have you been in the real estate industry and what the market was like when you got started?
All right, good morning. I got in the business in 1986, 87, obviously as a realtor like most of you. You know, door knocking and cold calling. I think as an investor, I was picking up properties in Norwalk. I think in the one-ways, the lowest price was probably 29,000. The average price was probably 75 to 90,000. FHA went from 85,000 to 90,000. That was a big jump back then because we thought nobody's going to be able to afford $90,000. And went to 95. Can't remember the interest rates, but I think they were over 10%. But same challenges, getting out there and working every single day, building the foundation. You know, it's just growing your business as a realtor.
Awesome. So in any market, pretty much what you're saying is you have to go back to the basics, right? The door knocking, the cold calling.
Yeah, I think, Jennifer, if we had a title every time we go through a market shift, and we go through market shifts all the time, is that we always talk about getting back to the basics. I just wonder where we went when we weren't doing basics. But yeah, it's fundamentally that. That's what I think we're all going to talk about today, are the fundamentals.
Going back to the basics, just doing more of it, right?
Yeah, doing it
consistently and frequently. Awesome. So one thing to note, this was brought to our attention by our executive director, Ms. Jeanette Bauman. It says 45% of our current membership has not gone through a shifting market like what we went through in our last shift, which was basically 2007 to 2009. Obviously, all three of you have experienced multiple shifts in the market and have weathered through various storms of all types of markets. So I think it's very important for the agents, especially those newer to the industry, because again, almost half of our membership haven't gone through a cycle. They're newer agents. So your information is really helping put things into perspective and giving them the tools that they're going to need to be successful in this shift. So now let's talk about the changing market or the shifting market, what we learned from the 2008 down market, and what can we do to make it through. Let's talk about the 3 Ps, what we consider as predict, prepare, and persevere. So the first P, which is again, predict, we just went through not only a seller's up market with multiple offers, I would say, you know, basically going from 0 to 100 miles per hour, right? And now it seems like, property selling over thousands over the asking price, sometimes 50,000, sometimes even over 100,000 over asking price. We had transactions where listing agents would receive 20 offers, 30 offers. It wasn't, you know, unheard of to even get like 40, 50 offers on listings, but we still had a low inventory. But we're noticing that that's no longer the case. And the current market is shifting now more to what we call a normal market. So what market do you guys predict is next? This is like of the 3 Ps, we're going into the predict category. What signs would we be looking for to be on top of the shifting market? Let's start off with Ruben.
For me, I think that the increase of inventory, it's going to be prevalent. You're going to see a lot more listings up for sale. Your listings are going to take longer to sell. Pricing is going to be key. If you don't list correctly, there's going to be a big market for expired listings. Because of the fact that people are still utilizing a lot of the data that's not prevalent today. You cannot go on closed transactions because that's not the reality. Closed transactions is something that even how quickly it could change, but more inventory in the marketplace. You're going to have less discount brokers out there. I believe you're going to see a lot of these people exit because before people didn't need much to do to get a property sold, and now you're going to get the pretenders out of the business, and you're going to have a lot more contenders out there that these are going to be people that know exactly what they're doing. And so for me, I look at it as that, you know, you got to pay attention to that. Interest rates will continue to increase, and you have to just know how to present it to your clients. It's still a great time to buy. As you heard earlier, there's a lot of interest rates that were much higher. A lot of the pricing is going to get corrected that is needs to be. But for me, I look at that, you know, for what I project and see. I anticipate that's going to be a lot more opportunity for those that want to work. And if you're a worker and you're not afraid to go the extra, you're definitely going to do well in this market.
So awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. So a recap on what Ruben is predicting is we're seeing more inventory, longer days on market, adjustments in pricing, right? Expired listings, you're going to see more of those. We are definitely seeing those when we get our MLS daily updates, right? Every day. We're going to see basically those newer agents or just agents in general that aren't hustling, like you mentioned, that are not the workers, are going to slowly start leaving the business, right?
Yes.
We're seeing that with some of the other associations where their membership has gone down. So thank you so much for sharing that. Joe, what are your thoughts on the predictions for what we're going to be seeing over the next few months, even the next year or so?
Well, obviously, everything Ruben said, I think is very accurate. I think in any changing market, we're going to experience changes, things on the market, more listings. Obviously, the buyers and sellers are going through some anxiety. They're going through emotions. They're going through fear because they hear things on the news. And it's the right time to sell, the right time to buy. It's tough out there because there's so much data. 25, 30, 40 years ago when we were in the business, Dan, that we didn't have the internet and a lot of stuff that was instant news. And there's a lot of pundits out there, and it is changing. It's a welcome change because 6 months ago we were all talking about we couldn't get our listings, getting listings out there, presenting offers and getting things accepted. Your listing agent, you're getting 40 offers on every property, and you've just developed 39 enemies out there because only one was your friend that got the offer through. So those dynamics that are changing, that's a welcome change. But I think, Jennifer, that anytime we have a changing market, there's huge opportunities out there. And I know what Ruben said, that we've got those contenders out there, the folks that, they show up to work every single day, they dress up, they answer the phone, they do the things that basic fundamental people do to be successful. And there's nothing to be fearful of this change. I mean, I actually welcome it back. Not to brag, but in 2008, we went through a huge change and this company became #1 worldwide just because our back was against the wall. We had to do what we had to do. So I like this business, and you have really people out there that want to work. And, it's nice when you get around an environment that people are showing up every single day to take action and holding themselves accountable to an outcome. So it's a good thing, I think.
That's awesome. So again, it seems like we're shifting towards a normal market. And to recap what Joe said again is, I think just filtering through all the data, all the misinformation, or just all the sensationalism that's going there, that's scaring the public, right? And I think what basically Joe's biggest takeaway is if you hustle, you work, you go back to basics, use that experience that you have, and go out there just like they did in 2008 when the market was shifting. That's when they were able to take advantage, like Joe said, is a big opportunity out there, right?
And there is, and Jennifer, I think one of the biggest changes right now is our American workforce. We just came out of COVID where a lot of us were hunkered down. A lot of us got loans and we didn't have to work, and we got bloated. And when you look around on the freeways, you see a lot of people that they're still not to work. I mean, restaurants are giving bonuses to waiters and cooks just to get to work. So if you really want to work, this is the time and place that if you really do something in the next couple of years, you can really set that foundation for the rest of your life and really position yourself really nicely. So, just really get back to work and, turn the news off and just put your head down and do what you know how to do.
Just focus and get to work.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for sharing that. Last but not least, Mr. Dan, what do you predict? What are you seeing in the next few months, over the next year or so? And what should agents be preparing for to gear up for the changes?
Well, I think Joe and Ruben hit it right on the head. Inventory is going to go up. Interest rates up and down. They're still go up one day and then they'll go back down a little bit until it gets adjusted to where it needs to be. Fear, almost want to say it's going to go back to maybe a buyer's market where buyers are going to have a little bit more say so than the sellers had at the beginning of the year. What the agents, I think, need to do is learn from other people. We've got a lot of resources that we don't know, that we don't use. All three of our offices have outstanding agents, and those outstanding agents are still outstanding agents, regardless of the marketplace. Learn from them. Don't be afraid to ask them questions. You've got lenders who've been in the business for a long time. Find out what's going on their side of the industry. You've got title reps who work with a lot of great agents. Don't be afraid to ask them, what are these agents doing that are keeping them successful? The funny thing about the marketplace is you see the agents that were top agents 5 years ago, top agents last year, like yourself, Jennifer, you're still a top agent today, regardless of the marketplace, because you're making adjustments. And that's all you really got to do. Stay focused. Like Joe says, show up every day, show up, and make sure you've got a schedule and you're sticking to that schedule.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Dan. So again, recapping what Dan said, everybody, we're going to be shifting more to a buyer's market and learn from others. No matter what the market's like, there's always going to be agents that are going to be succeeding and thriving no matter what happens. There's plenty of resources out there. I know the Downey Association has a plethora of classes, programs. As soon as you log into the MLS, you see all of the different resources available to you. Again, like Dan said, Joe said, Ruben said, there's plenty of opportunity out there. Again, don't get caught up in all the cheesemen, all the hype about how this is going to happen. The world's going to come to an end and the market's going to tank. No matter what, there's always going to be agents that are going to be producing. There's going to be top producing brokerages. So learn from others, just like Dan said. So thank you guys for all of that valuable information and the tools that you're sharing with everybody. Now, again, going back to the 3 Ps, which are, again, predict, prepare, and persevere. So our second P is about preparation. All of our members want to exceed and get through the shifting or changing market. As we mentioned before, 45% of our members haven't been through a big market shift like we've experienced in the past. I know several of you have already been through 2 or 3 different cycles. What do our fellow members need to do to get ready for what's ahead? And what should they really concentrate on? And all that we've said so far, what are like maybe the 1 or 2 things that they should be focusing on right now? Joe, let's start off with you.
I think changing habits, obviously we came out of a very accelerated market and real. It's something that a lot of us have never seen before. And I think if you've been in the business the last 5 years, you're learning about what the word price reduction and, the resistance to pricing right now out there. I think more than anything, if I were a brand new agent or even more experienced agent, the number one thing I'd be visiting is my schedule to make sure that I have a really winnable schedule and I don't lose my morning. That if I want to be that person that, the top here or top there or make a great living for my family, that is my schedule the same that it would be. So here's the example I see every single day, and I see this for 30-some years, and I can almost predict people that will fail and succeed. It's based on their morning schedule. Are they here ready to go in the morning, or do they show up just when they have something to do? They're getting prepared for a listing appointment in the afternoon, and they show up today, and they're dressed up one day out of the week. So I just think the guy or girl that has that morning schedule in tune, you have a better odds of being successful. There's a lot of things that go with that. Now, for example, that taking listings. I mean, before you take a listing, you didn't even have to put in the MLS. There was rules about that you'd have offers, put a sign out front, and buyers came to you. Those dynamics are going to change. They're fundamentally going to change, but you're going to have to learn how to market those listings to fellow realtors. You're going to have to get along with other realtors out there and make sure that you're leveraging your marketing throughout not only your own company, but throughout the entire board, that you're getting that property viewed as well as you can. So, looking at Zoom meetings, looking at Facebook, Instagram, putting videos out there, just really maximizing the efforts that you have regarding those listings, because obviously that's what the sellers are going to want. So, today you're not successive than just taking a listing, putting the MLS and watching it sell, because those dynamics will change. They're changing today because you're seeing price reduction, average days on the market. So we're going to have to learn how to, or relearn how to market those products successfully.
Awesome. Again, so to recap with Joe, the main takeaways on what Joe had mentioned to be successful in the shifting market is basically having a schedule, being proactive with your time, not being reactive, right? If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist, right, Joe?
There you go. Yeah.
And he focused big on the importance of having a morning schedule. How you start your day is basically how you're going to end your day. And then also importance of pricing and marketing.
Yep.
Like you said before, things are not going to sell themselves. Now it's going to come down to the actual skill set of an agent, properly pricing a property and marketing it effectively.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that. Dan, let us know what you, the maybe 1 or 2 pointers you would have for agents in the industry so that they can prepare for a shifting market.
I'm going to start with what Joe said was absolutely, that was some the points I put down. But another thing is focus on customer service. It is so important that you are beyond over the top on customer service. Make sure you're keeping in touch with your clients. Make sure you're providing the best customer service, getting them updated on every step of the way. They're nervous when they're doing this. The other thing is keeping in touch with your past clients, your center of influence, letting people know what's going on in the marketplace. I remember we had a phenomenal year, the year COVID hit. And what happened was during COVID is we were reaching out to our clients, asking them, how are you doing? Is there anything we can do to help? What's going on? And letting them know that we cared, more importantly. And then if you're a new agent, start with the basics. You got to go out and do your prospecting, your door knocking, your open houses. This is the stuff that's going to get you in front of people and get you known. One of the things I always say is I'd rather be the best known agent in an area than the best agent in an area, because I would spend a lot of time trying to be the best agent and still probably wouldn't be. But if I'm out in the public, letting people know I'm here to help, that's how you're going to get business. So those are
awesome. Thank you, Dan. So again, Dan's takeaways or biggest suggestions or tips are going to be customer service. This is going to be really important, guys, because these are the things that the big dogs like Redfin, Zillow, they're not going to be able to do, because you're there on the trenches with the clients, with the public. So again, going above and beyond with customer service and keeping in touch with your database. Also going back to the basics. This is a recurring theme that both Dan, Joe, and Ruben have repeated over and over, is going back to the basics. And that goes back to like your lead generation. Mm-hmm. Now, Ruben, let's hear your thoughts or your pointers on what agents can do to prepare for a shifting market, the main 1 or 2 things that they can do to be successful and thrive.
Well, I don't think it's shifting. I think it's shifted. And so it's here. And so, we've been talking about it for a long time. And I think that to be prepared in a shifted market, you can't do some of the things that you did before. You can't work less. You have to work more. You have to go the extra mile. You have to come in a little earlier, work a little later. You have to be able to go to do things that you didn't want to do before, because nowadays it's not that simple. You have to learn how to develop your craft. More people, you didn't need a lot of skill to sell real estate in the last few years. You just needed someone that's somewhat motivated. Now you're going to need skill. So you have to get skillful. You have to learn your scripts. You have to know your dialogue. You have to go out there. These are things that we've always been told to do, but very few people actually go out and do it. You have to become a student of your trade. You have to understand all the laws and the changes of everything, like Prop 19 and the ADUs, and there's all these different, that gives you an edge, I think, to a consumer that can be able to do something simply because they don't know better. And you're the bearer of the news, you're going to bring it to them. I think you need to be loyal to your vendors. Very, very few people are, unfortunately, our vendors, there's agents out there that all they want is to benefit, and they would just want to extract from them. And what they don't realize is that you have to be your escrow people, your title people. You have to create a team that is going to allow you to propel yourself to that next level. To be prepared in this market, environment is very key. You have to know what type of environment you're in. If you're not in an environment that's breeding success and you're the only person that's going into the office, I mean, that goes to show you that you're on an island. And so you need to be in an environment that's going to breed success, that's constantly updating you, letting you know what's going on, the changes. And finally, you need to have a mentor. You need to find a mentor, someone that you can actually lean on, learn from, and extract. You know, there's a lot of great people out there, not just our trainers out there like the Mike Ferries and Tom Ferries and all. There's other people that are successful. We have a lot of successful agents in our board that would be good to learn from, and I'll take them out to lunch, get to know from them, because see, this market is maybe new to 45%, but it's not impossible to be very successful. It's not impossible to take opportunity. But if you don't become a student of the real estate industry that we do, you're not going to make it. And I will tell you that the business will tell you it's time for you to leave, because you don't know much. You have to know. You got to know everything about the transaction. More and more as time goes on, I see that there's a lot of agents that are lazier. All they want is their transaction coordinator to do all their documentation, all their paperwork. They don't want to learn. They don't want to know their stuff. They don't want to know what the process is. What's A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. You have to understand the process. Don't let the vendors take, well, I don't want to know about financing. That's not my role. That's not my job. It should be. You should know more, because that way you can share that with your clients and stuff like that. And we'll go from there, but I think that going the extra, developing the craft, becoming a student of your trade, and finding again against becoming a mentor is part of what I feel that you have to be prepared for you to be able to accomplish this. And if you do so, and you surround yourself with the right people, I promise you one thing is going to have a bright future. That is a fact.
Awesome. Good job, Ruben. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think it reminds everyone of that famous quote, you become the average of the 5 people you spend your time with, right? That's super important is your environment. Like you said, Ruben, surrounding yourself with successful people, not only that, in a successful environment, and your skill set. Now's the time to distinguish yourself from the average agent, right? Now's the time to educate yourself. Thank you. That's awesome. And going the extra mile, working more. Yes. Let's say you normally put 10 signs up when you do your open houses. You don't feel like putting that extra last sign. Now's the time when you want to start putting up all the signs that you have in your car.
That's right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And also, like you said, having a good mentor. Again, going back to surrounding yourself with those that are better than you as an agent. So again, going back to the 3 Ps, which are predict, prepare, and the third, which is persevere. Gentlemen, give us your words of experience, your last words of experience and encouragement to get the agents, especially the newer agents, through these changing markets. Like Ruben said, we're not in a shifting market. We've already shifted. Our market has changed. So we have to accept that. Joe, let's start off with you. What are your thoughts?
I'm optimistic. I like changing markets. I like wind to our face versus our wind to our back. I like the market we're headed into versus the one we came out of. And that's not being optimistic. I think like Ruben said, that it was very easy for a realtor in the last 5 years to have some nominal level of success. Now, the nice thing is about this market, anybody that wants to work and really make a name for themselves for the next 20, 30, or a lifetime here in real estate, this is the markets you can do it in, because there's so much uncertainty. With that uncertainty, if you're okay about working, showing up, and that's the bottom line, that if you're not okay with working and showing up, then this is probably going to be a very tough gig for you. But if you're okay with that, showing up, like I'm here every single day at 7 a.m. in the morning, 7:30. I'm the one who opens this gate and turns on lights. But I've been doing this for 30 some years, and this is it's in my DNA to do that. But when I look at people, like I said, that if they're showing up late, it's kind of like getting to the airport. And when you get to the airport late and that plane leaves, it's leaving without you. And the market every single day will leave without you, and it changes every single day. Rates changes every day. Lender requirements change every single day. And if you're arriving late and giving the information second and third hand, then you're not going to be very optimistic about what your chances are in this market. So if you're brand new in the business, it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, I can brag about my son. He's one of the top, I think he's number 2 agent here, and he's been in the business 2 years. in good markets. So we can look for that. So it's an optimistic thing, even though we talk about a changing market as it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because it leads to brand new opportunities. So even if you're an agent for 5 years ago and we talk about that you haven't heard price reductions or doing follow-up with clients every Monday regarding market adjustments and things like that, because that's one of the biggest things us brokers and managers are facing today. As I'm getting calls from sellers saying, why isn't my property sold? Where is it listed at? Where's it on the MLS? Where's it on, realtor.com, wherever, they're asking those questions. So being in front of those clients every single day, because we know when we're successful with them, then we're going to be successful with their friends and their families and the people they know in that area. So, but it's as simple as this. It's just don't make this process very difficult, because you got to show up every single day, hold yourself accountable, and do the work that's required. And I think Dan said it, or Ruben said it, that this board has a plethora of people like Jennifer and different people that are very successful in success leads clues. And typically you take them to lunch, they'll tell you everything about everything they do. That's what I find. So this is not a difficult thing, but but you gotta put the effort into it.
Awesome. So it sounds to me, I guess the biggest takeaways, Joe, is developing those good habits. Like you said, show up. How you've been consistently showing up at your office at 7 a.m. every morning for the last 30 plus years. So you have that consistent habit, right? The persistence and the consistency and the mindset, as instead of viewing the market as something negative, you're framing it as this is an opportunity for everybody to take over market share. This is when you guys came out on top, being the number one in, was it in the C21 world, right?
Yes.
So it's mindset, the customer service, keeping it simple, showing up every day. So the consistency and the frequency. Awesome. Thank you so much, Joe. Now, Ruben, what are your thoughts on the perseverance of our 3 Ps? What are your words of experience and encouragement that's going to help our agents get through these changing markets?
To preserve, I guess, your talent, I think there's a few things you can do. Number one is be professional. I think one of the things that we lack in this industry is that we don't return calls on a timely fashion. You're not returning texts, emails. You're not, responding to any. I think that we lack that more now than ever before. I think that you have to be professional to your fellow agents. I also think that you have to be professional to your clients. For years, the transition of getting assistance and disconnecting from your clients once you open escrow has been more and more prevalent. And I think that we lost that art that we, going back from the initial where Dan mentioned customer service. I think that you have to, be professional. Don't let go, don't give it to your clients, be present. There's agents out there that have assistants that and they do all the talking, and the client makes the relationship with that assistant more so with the actual agent. And so I think that needs to take place. You also have to join an accountability group. I think it's important to be like-minded people surrounding yourself. Get into an accountability group that is going to allow you to hold each other to make sure that you achieve the goals that you have set before you. I understand that sometimes we don't know how to go about it, and by being in an accountability group, you're going to be able to accomplish that. But in being in an accountability group, don't be a taker. Be a giver. I'm very sensitive when it comes to that. I think that the more we give, the more we will strive, and a lot of times people join accountability groups just to receive, and they don't want to share anything. If you're going to be part of an accountability group, it's important that you actually give, because if you give, the more we give, the more you will receive. It just solidifies what you know. It will solidify everything that you have. Again, I think networking is important. You have to go to preserve. You got to be part of these groups, finding out what the market is presenting. Groups like NAREP and things of that nature. The board, we have an amazing board. I can tell you that this function and this event that we're having just now is just an indicator of where the direction of our board is. There's a lot of free events that they provide, from lenders and vendors and stuff like that. You have to be, a participant. You also have to make it a career. don't be, I cut timers that make it into a career. Part-timers to me are part-timers that are transitioning to become, if you're going to be a part-timer for a career, then that's not part-time. The third is someone that lands a transaction here and there. Their uncle wants to buy a house or sell a house, and they have to come in, and that they have a real estate license. You see them once a year, and you can't do that in this business. You have to be, again, make it a career, make it, become a true craftsman of your business, and be excited. I mean, be excited. You got to be really excited about the fact that you have this opportunity. You have a real estate license in your hand that is priceless. I mean, if you understood it, exactly how much you have in your hands and what you can do with it, I mean, it's endless of the possibilities that you can do. So be excited, be very motivated to come into the office every single day, and if you do all these things, if you accomplish this, I know that you can be able to preserve those things the goals that you have in front of you. And more importantly, I promise you that one thing that is certain, you will be successful. That is a fact.
Awesome. I love all those takeaways, Ruben. I think the agents in general need to ask themselves, and I love it, do you want to be a sometime-er or do you want to be a full-timer, right?
Yes.
And becoming a full-timer, it's not just a full-time schedule. Getting to work every day, excited, like you said, joining accountability groups, but participating. The reciprocity, what you get is what you get. What you give is what you get, right? Yes. And be different, distinguishing yourself from others. Awesome. Those are some good takeaways. And again, the recurring theme, like you mentioned, Ruben, is that customer service and being there throughout the entire process. I know exactly what you're saying. I know some agents that don't even show up to the inspections. They just let the client show up with the inspector. The same thing with the appraisal. Even if the client's not there, meet the appraiser. You never know if you're going to have that same appraiser on another transaction. I saved every single phone number of every appraiser. I know exactly what year, what property they showed up at. So amazing. I love all those takeaways. Dan, what are your thoughts on persevering? What does that mean to you? What do you want to share with the audience on what it's going to take to persevere in this shifted market, I should say, just like Ruben had said. It's shifted. It's not shifting. It's shifted.
Absolutely. Boy, these two guys are good. They really covered a lot of it. but I do want to add, sharpen your skills. Sharpen your skills. Practice what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, we're one of the rare industries that have this opportunity to go out there, and we don't have a glass ceiling, that we can make as much as we want to make as long as we go out and put forth the effort. Take a look at athletes. Athletes are the highest paid individuals in the country, seems like. They make mega millions of dollars a year. What do they do every day? They're out there practicing their craft. They're out getting better at their skills. That's what we need to develop. We got to understand we've got to do this. Mastermind. I think Joe mentioned mastermind. Definitely, but don't make it a lunch where you pardon the language, but actually share ideas. Find out what's working for that other person. Don't be afraid to ask that top producer. Ruben mentioned accountability groups. Even one accountability partner that you're keeping in touch with, letting them know. Share your goals with your family. That's very important. Your family will hold you accountable. Believe me, your kids will hold you accountable. Share your goals with them. And last but not least is get out there. Don't wait for an opportunity. Go out and find it. We had a speaker, Ruben Mata, come out here and say, imagine if you did what you're supposed to do every day. Take a look at that. Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing every day? If you are, you're going to succeed. There's no doubt about it. I tell my people, this business isn't rocket science. Anybody can do it. I've been in it 39 years. I'm not the smartest person you're ever going to meet, but I'm consistent about what I do, and I'm out there doing it every day. That's what we need to do. It's not rocket science. It's just work. We need to go out and do it, and we need to take our job seriously and treat it as it's a career. Don't be a sometime-timer, be a full-timer. Get out there and do everything you need to do. If you're part-time, one of the things I tell my agents, I'll never tell anybody quit your job and come into real estate, you know, because it takes work. It might take you some time before you get going. But if you're going to start it, make sure you're daily putting in activities that are going to make you successful. If you do that, you're going to get through any type of market. Don't listen to the news. The news is doom and gloom. Go out there, pick people's brains in the industry, see who's doing it, talk to the top lenders out there. The title reps are there to help you. Take advantage of all these people.
Love it, love it, love it, Dan. Again, everyone, sharpen your skills, like Dan mentioned, mastermind, network with others that are highly successful in the industry. Again, share your goals with the family. That's like an accountability. It's not just with like, it doesn't have to be a big group. Like he said, it could be one person. It could be your family. You don't have to pay somebody to help hold you accountable. And get out there, get out there, get out there, get out there, take action. Like Dan said, in other words, get out of your comfort zone. Do what you wouldn't normally do to be successful, right? Do what you, get out of your comfort zone and take action. I love it. I love it. I love that energy that each one of you have. And you guys have each been in the industry for more than 30 years. You show up every day excited. I love it. So these are some key takeaways, everybody. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for all of the valuable information. Now we're going to open up the questions from the audience. Jeanette, do we have any questions from the audience? You guys can handle anything. If you can handle all these shifting markets, if you can handle 21% interest rates, you can handle a question from the audience.
Nobody has put anything in the chat.
All right, we'll just talk.
You guys really did cover everything well.
I love it.
Thank you.
Maybe give everybody a minute.
I was about asking Jennifer a question when she's going to join a C21 office.
We'll all be happy to have her.
And I think you should start with Ruben, then go to lunch with Dan, then actually come see me last.
ABC.
That's right, ABC.
I love it always. Any questions, Miss Jeanette?
Still nothing. But there are 52 people still
guys,
on board.
Good morning, everybody. This is Eileen Arencibia. How are you guys?
Here we go.
How are you?
Hi,
Eileen. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate the information. My question to the three panelists is, in respect to marketing on social media, what do you see is what's being leveraged? Or do you not do social media?
Who wants to start off, gentlemen?
I can start.
Go for it, Ruben.
So social media, I think it's obviously a new angle that we're not accustomed to, and you know, we come from the old school, and we're more like the the basics, I would say. For myself, I'm barely getting into it. It's very minimal. I don't really do as much as I need to. I want to feel like I'm in control, or social, I feel like I'm not. But everything works as long as you do it consistently. That's a fact, no matter what it is. And social media, I think it's now, and so it's about getting more familiarized for myself. But it does give you with people how they're putting in, providing. It's not just information that's prevalent to what you did. It's actually information that what's changed, what's needed. They'll become a part of your audience. And so, but I definitely believe that social media is definitely another angle that we have to all really pipe down and really learn. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to add. Oh, can I?
Go for it, Dan.
Okay. Yeah, social media is here to stay. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Wasn't here in my time. I probably wouldn't be that works, but social media is definitely going to enhance it for you. I mean, the TikTok videos that some of the agents are putting out, I mean, you're not going to get business by saying, hi, I'm Dan, use me. You know, you're not going to be getting business like that. But if you're showcasing a listing, you're going to get calls. If you're going out there being funny, again, getting yourself known in the real estate community, that's going to help you. I think it's wonderful. It's not going to be a replacement for the basics that you got to go out and do on a daily basis, but it's going to definitely be an enhancement to it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Joe, do you want to add anything?
I do. I'll just throw it in because obviously we have a larger office here and everything in moderation. Obviously there are folks out there that leverage social media very well. They do well with it. But like Dan said, I don't think that you can put all of your efforts in one bag, and just understand that it's a double-edged sword, that you have to be mindful that, you know, doing things, political views or classless things, it's a lasting impression, and first impressions are everything. And, you know, I just had a complaint just recently about someone's political views that they were, you know, on TikTok and Facebook about it. And some people do get offended by that. So just remember, it's your book about who you are, and you can say one thing or grammatically speak incorrectly where you could really hurt your efforts, because people do go on social media to find out more about who you are before a listed appointment or buyer's appointment or during escrow, or finding a reason why not to like you. So you just have to have it in moderations. And like I said, we have people here that do an extremely good job at it. If you're going to do them, I think that having videos is much better than putting pictures or just making statements. So if you can do a video, because I think that it showcases who you are and what your personality is about or what you like doing, you know, not even in real estate, but offline or, you know, with your family and things like that. So just, it's a two-edged sword. Do it in moderation and don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joe. So recap, thank you for the question, Eileen, again. So from our panelists, we have social media is here to stay, embrace it, and going back to the basics. But I think what basically the gentlemen are saying, our powerhouses here is keep it simple, make sure you're professional, diversify doing the videos. And again, no matter what you do on your day-to-day stuff, you probably want to tell or basically share that use social media as a medium to capture what you're already doing, but doing it with videos. Great question. Any other questions, Jeanette?
Yes, from Daniel. What is the recommended target to farm during this time? Expireds, FSBOs, NODs.
Yes.
All of the above.
All of them.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be, again, there's going to be a bigger market. Just last week in LA County alone, there was 99 expired listings in 1 week. So imagine now, if you're not paying attention to that, then you want to work not incorrectly. I think that you have to go after for sale by owners. These are people that want to sell, and the only thing that they want to do is save commission. And if you don't know how to overcome that objection, then you're not giving yourself a chance. So for sale by owners, definitely expired listings is definitely the go-to. I would go there first before even cold calling, because people are, you're trying to look in cold calling, you're trying to find somebody, a needle in a haystack, where here are people that want to do something, they want to sell. And some of them weren't able to in the expired listings, and some of them weren't able. So get educated, find a dialogue, find a script that it's going to work for you. Visit these people. A lot of people want to make calls, and very few people want to visit them in person. Go out there and talk to them in person. Go out there and get to know them better. And I think that the expired market is going to be huge. And for those that actually make it a point, they're going to make a lot of money in regards to a lot of transactions, and they're going to be able to help a lot of people.
Awesome. Hey, Ruben, I know you mentioned that there were 99 expireds in 1 week in LA County. What were you seeing expireds like maybe 6 months ago?
You weren't. I mean, it's very minimal. I mean, it was like things were selling off the rack. I mean, things that you thought were overpriced were still selling above asking, and they were still beginning to praise. And you were just like, what's going on, you know? So it was a very small, you know, it was definitely under, like in LA County, it was definitely less than 20 per week. It wasn't non-existent. And now we're seeing it growing every single week. You know, agents are not being educated. They don't know better. They're still listing property incorrectly. The other thing that I would suggest is that for those of you that are getting listings, you need longer periods of time. You need to get a 6-month listing minimum. You know, for many a long time, a lot of people were saying, well, let's do it for 90 days or less, 60 days and 30 days. You can't do that. Yeah. You know, you're going to have to list it correctly. You got to do it at least for 6 months. Have it, you know, if not from 6 months to the higher you go on your price, and if you're not able to let them see if you're not doing enough good of a job to getting your price point, the longer you're going to need a listing agreement for.
You're going to be chasing the market, guys. Good job, Ruben. Joe or Dan, would you like to answer the question?
Yeah, I would. I think it's obviously the changing market, and it's our job. It hovers on professional misconduct that we can allow a listing out to our sellers' dreams of selling their property when we know for a fact it's not going to sell. So, you know, back in the day, we would take listings understanding that we're going to beat the seller up in the future with price reductions. But I think more time than ever, a great agent right now with a good information, empirical information, be able to show somebody that this is where the market's at, and we could have a strategy being at the top and chase the market down or position it that we're going to get viable offers in there. But more than ever, that just demonstrates to me that in this changing market that we're not in touch with the sellers, making those price adjustments so we can get those properties sold. So if there's a motivation on the seller's part, and obviously there's a motivation on the agent's part, that we have to intersect that market, because that's where exactly it's going to be. So doing price adjustments weekly are probably what we're going to be looking at in the near future. So do new CMAs every single week to the seller, showing that this is how many new properties came in the market, this is how many expires, this is the price range of the expires, these are the ones that sold, these are the, you know, these are the unsuccessful ones, these are the successful ones. That probably has to happen every single week minimum to keep that seller advised of what's happening. Because what's going to happen, you're going to have great agents like you, Jennifer, that it's not who you say yes to on a listing. Sometimes you'll say no to a listing. Understand that some inexperienced agent's going to go in there and do exactly what that seller wants to do. They're going to list it, overprice it, and you're going to scoop it up in 3 months, 6 months as an expired listing, because they're going to come back to you and me, and they're going to say, okay, you're the one who told me the truth about this. So I think that being very tough in the beginning, but you know, being tough in a nice way that, hey, it's a changing market. This is not where we're at anymore. We can't do those things. And people say no to people, and you're able to say no to people if you're out there doing your job every single day, that you have other people that you're talking to, not just that one person that all your hopes are on that one seller that's really going to control your outcome. So it's a good market to be in, and it's hopefully that we all experience it in the right way, not the negative way.
So it's basically the importance of pricing, and now's the time to, again, take action, not be passive. Like you said, doing a CMA on a weekly basis if you have a listing. If you're not getting that activity, not waiting, you know, till the property's been on the market 6 months before you have that conversation. Make sure that you're on top of the data that's out there. Yeah, great job. Thank you so much.
A lot of times what we want to do is agents, we don't want to call their seller back because we're going to tell them some bad news. And I would rather call them than them call me or Dan, or, you know, they're upset. And now when they're upset, they don't want to listen as much. So really, it's not our fault what's happening to the market, but we have to adjust to the market. And, you know, if they can't sell, they can't sell. Move on, and you have to do what you have to do. But be honest with people about, you know, our ability to sell that property at whatever price you're pricing it at.
And back it up with data. Awesome. Dan, any last words?
Just double up on what you're doing. To answer the question, FSBOs, expires, NODs, yes, do them all. Do them all. You know, they all work. You see agents that specialize in these things. Do them all. Learn them all. Your numbers are going to tell you what you're good at. Keep doing what you're good at. You know, find out what you're good at. Double up what you're doing. Now's the time to get out there and do more.
Educate yourself. Show up excited. Consistency and frequency. Whatever you do decide, just do it, and do it consistently and frequently.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions? Are we going to be wrapping up, Jeanette?
It looks like we're wrapping up. Everyone's just thanking you guys for your time and your knowledge, for sharing all your knowledge, and no other questions.
Awesome. Let's have a round of applause for our 3 powerhouses.
Yay.
Thank you guys for your information. Thank you guys for your information.
All right. Dan, you don't have one of these, do you, Dan?
Hey, I got to get one of those. Mine might look a little better, I hope.
Yeah,
hey.
Just kidding there. Just kidding. Thank you, guys.
Joe.
I learned a lot from you too. Thanks.
See you guys.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Joe. Thank you,
everyone.
Ruben. Thank you, Matt, for your
You're welcome.
expertise
My
and
pleasure.
for taking your time today.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Really honored and blessed. Bye, everyone. Have an
Okay.
amazing day. And thank
Bye-bye.
you to the
Bye,
Downtown
everyone.
of Realtors for hosting us today. Thank
Yes.
you, Ms. Burnett,
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
and to your amazing staff. Yay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.